Hello, my name is Chris, and I want to start out with a disclaimer. Filming myself talking in front of a camera is probably the last thing in the world I would ever want to be doing. You could ask anybody that knows me. But here I am. I'm doing it because I think it possibly could be something that's helpful for people, maybe inspirational, and also just interesting for guitar players to watch. So I decided to do this. So here's what's going on. I'm 46 years old. I started playing guitar, I think it was the early 90s, so I've been playing guitar for a really long time. And recently, January 6th, I had a injury. I sustained an injury, I should say, on a table saw. Um, I basically cut off my middle finger, uh, completely destroyed my pointer. The middle finger was just kind of held on by a little bit of flesh. They were able to reattach it. My pointer finger was sort of filleted this way. You can almost kind of see like a cross section of my bone. And then every finger got hit. My thumb was really bad, and tip of my pinky, and the ring finger was the best. It just kind of got shaved right there. My hand is in rough shape right now, and obviously the surgeon did a nice job. I'm in physical or occupational therapy, I should say now. But there's going to be a lot of ums. I'm going to say all the time too. Just get used to it. Sorry. Actually, hopefully after this video, it's going to be mostly just guitar playing, so you won't have to hear me too much. But I'm in therapy, but I think if I'm being honest and kind of according to what the surgeon and the therapist are saying, is that the likelihood of me getting the dexterity back in my left hand to be able to fret a guitar again is probably pretty low. And just to kind of talk about the injury a little bit, it's funny, and I think other guitar players or musicians will relate to this, but probably within a half a second of chopping my finger off and destroying my hand, you'd think it would just be, it's so brutal, you're just thinking this is awful, the pain, blah blah. Within a half a second, I was thinking about guitar, and I was just completely flattened, mortified. So what I've decided to do is to try to learn how to play guitar lefty. And who knows, if I do get the dexterity back and I'm able to play again, that's incredible. But it wouldn't be, I would say, at least for a year or so. So at least in the meantime, I'm going to get a jump start on this, and I'm going to try to learn how to play lefty guitar. And I did record this video a week ago, but I was like in my pajamas and it was awful. So I have been messing around for a week, just to give you sort of a baseline. And just to talk about the type of how good of a guitar player I was, because it's probably important to this whole thing. I wasn't some savant by any means. I was an ear player. I am an ear player, I should say. Always relied very heavily on my ear basically from day one. Never really had the patience to kind of grind through theory, or to grind through like really becoming a shredder, which I always wanted to be, but like my inclination was always to write. As soon as I learned a few chords, I was like, I gotta write songs. I just love writing music, and I love writing, really cool sounding guitar riffs that ultimately would become songs, etc. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I played in a pop punk band. Then I got into indie rock, and nowadays it's mostly just playing at church in the worship team, playing with my girls. My girls are all very musically inclined, my daughters. Yeah. So just to kind of give you a baseline of who I was as a guitar, I'm definitely a tone junkie. I have this cool little boutique amp. It's a custom company in New Jersey. Obviously, I'm a pedal. I'm addicted to pedals. Sorry, I had to restart the video because I just started mumbling incoherently. So just back to who I was or am as a guitar player. I would say I'm a very, very clean guitar player. I've recorded dozens and dozens of albums. So, we're just talking hundreds of hours in the studio of just grinding out parts to click tracks and drum tracks. So that has a way of, I think, really refining your technique and even your timing. But again, relied very heavily on my ear. My knowledge of theory is, after playing for this long, is almost like embarrassing. Every once in a while I would get a little, I'm going to learn theory, and just 2 days in, just fall flat. I just don't have the patience for it. But as far as my ear is concerned, you can kind of put me in any scenario musically, and I'll do something that sounds nice. I could, improvise decently, and unless the chords are getting too off the rails. But so that's that. A couple other things. I'm going to just mention some of my concerns. I actually play, I play mandolin, I play violin as well, and it's almost can't even think about that right now. It's just too depressing. But on the positive side, I do play pedal steel guitar and resonator guitar, so that's kind of always a good fallback, because I'm certain at some point I'll be able to hold a bar with this hand. I'm already getting some grip with these fingers. So that's always a good fallback. If I just have to kind of focus on that, if the lefty thing doesn't go well and I don't get the dexterity back with this hand, then I could just kind of fall back and really put all my attention into pedal steel and resonator. So I just thought this would be fun. I'm gonna just, like I said, there's not gonna be a lot of talking after this, maybe a little bit here and there. But I'm gonna just record myself. I'm gonna try to record myself maybe like once a week, and post the videos to YouTube, and it should be really interesting. And like I said, I've been doing this for about a week now, and I can kind of just talk through some of the things that are interesting. I'm actually able to form some chords. I think. It's such a strange concept, like to learn something that I know already, but and just not be able to do it. It's so strange, and I think a lot of the things that I'm struggling with are probably very similar to when someone's just learning guitar for the first time. Just I'm forming a chord, but my fingers are hitting other strings, and I pluck through each string, and not every string is making a sound. The G chord feels like I don't even think G is possible. No, I shouldn't say that, but it just feels so foreign. It's crazy. Hammer-ons, oh my God, I can't even tell you. I think there's something related to doing something rhythmic, where the two hands have to sort of work together. Doing that lefty is like, it feels impossible. So one of the main things I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get a major scale. I thought that would be a very sort of productive thing to just work on, is playing a major scale cleanly. One other thing I want to just say too is right now I'm not able to hold a pick. I think maybe I might be a month away of being able to hold a pick between my thumb and my ring finger. So what I'm doing, I found this cool company, Black Mountain. They make these spring loaded finger picks, because my thumb still hurts a little bit. So like the regular, just like Dunlop picks, they just hurt too much. I tried to get the extra large, it still hurts. So these are kind of like spring loaded, and I'm able to get it on my thumb. But again, that's just a whole nother thing that's just awkward, like is just playing don't like playing like that, and like upstrokes are almost, they're ridiculous. So I can't really strum. Not that I did a lot of strumming anyway, on electric, but like the whole down up thing, it's not a thing right now. I'm just kind of doing downstrokes. I think I might be able to do alternate picking with this, but right now I'm just kind of focusing on downstrokes. Another thing that I consider is, because I obviously have a bunch of nice guitars, righty guitars, and I was considering just flipping them and just learning to play, lefty on a righty guitar upside down, which, I have one of my best friends in the world is incredible, and he plays that way. Obviously, there's Eric Gales, who's a phenom. I kind of bailed on that idea. I might go back to it, but I picked up a cheap sort of a Telecaster. It's like a Fender player style Telecaster. And I might ultimately, if I do get good enough on on lefty that I feel comfortable, I might end up trying to learn how to play a righty guitar upside down after that. But I think I'm just gonna, that just adds a whole nother element of like different chord formations and awkwardness that I don't really want to add to the mix right now. So I'm just gonna be playing regular lefty, and maybe eventually I'll try to learn how to play lefty on a righty guitar upside down, just so I can enjoy the guitars that I love and paid a lot of money for. So anyway, from this point, I'm just gonna kind of start recording, my playing just a little bit, and just be sort of interesting to see how this goes. All right, bye. So just a couple quick notes. As you can see, I keep going back to E major because that one feels the most comfortable. Something that's interesting is like it's like a weird thing with switching over to lefty. It's like if I'm playing a chord and there's a note that's not ringing through, and I feel like I have to push harder. It's hard to explain it, but it's like my left hand wants to make that fix, not the right hand, not the hand that's actually doing it. And then yeah, just back to the major scale. I'm working on that because I just think if that's gonna if I get down to where I could play a major scale like that, just very comfortably, that sort of like checks off a lot of boxes. It's like this hand knowing where it is at the same time as this hand, and there's different stretching. I'm going to try to go down lower on the fretboard to do it. Right now I'm starting up a little bit higher because it's a little bit more comfortable. And then the other thing is that it's like my right hand just feels so like I'm doing like the claw, where you just grab so hard, and there's no comfort, which is so strange from somebody that's been playing for as long as I have, where guitar just felt like so natural. So yeah, that's really weird. Strange with like the major scale thing. It's like if I have everything a certain way, you know, I could play through it like pretty cleanly, but then if I just change one little thing, maybe put the guitar like this or change this, all of a sudden it's just like it feels like I've never done it before. It's very strange. So all right, here here goes over the hills and far away. Oh my gosh, brace yourself. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoy this crazy journey with me. Bye.